I know it's a common question.
Actually, it's a great question because refunds are interest-free money that you're leaving on the table for the IRS to use until you claim it. Refunds could be great, especially for that single mother, or I'll say it like this because politically correct, mother with kids, you know, because some people are offended by that single mom, but mother that has kids, she needs that tax credit, those non-refundable credits, to raise their kids, because if the father's not in their life, some women do not put their exes on child.
Welcome back, everybody, back to another exciting show of the About That Water podcast, where we help the sandwich generation build strong financial habits. My name is Anthony Weaver, and one of the things that we're going to be talking into is about taxes. Tax season is right around the corner. Actually, it just started. So I have my favorite tax lady, your favorite tax lady, Angelina King, coming back to share with us all the awesome things that's been happening with taxes. So are you guys ready? If not, here you go.
All
So how you
right.
doing today, Andrew?
I'm doing wonderful, Anthony. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, I have to say that, the audience keep asking for you to come back. I like to ask you first. Obviously we stay in touch.
Right.
And one of the things that me personally, I like that you actually are fully open about taxes and actually just dive right into the tax code and what it is and how we can get better with it. And so I appreciate you for taking your time out of your day to do this.
Oh, my pleasure is mine. I love to educate people because we need to stay abreast on what's going on, especially we don't know what's going to happen with this new administration. So we're going to have to go with the flow right now. So, and I'm not going to get political because we're
Thanks.
not. That's
I mean, with these taxes,
a podcast, so I'm not going to go there. But we all know what the elephant in the room is. So, and we don't want your listeners or your viewers to have fear because there's no fear.
okay. And for us to build that confidence in the tax code, in taxes, because a lot of us just don't know. When should we start filing our taxes?
Now, if you have all your documents, now is a great time. And now is actually, a acronym that I can't think of right now, but um, today, if you have all your documents and if you can go to your online account at the irs.gov, because if you think you're missing something, they should have your transcript already updated. It could be another week, but right now I believe all the documents are there, and just do a comparison to make sure you have everything because the one thing I don't want taxpayers to do is get a under-reporter notice, because if you don't report those documents that the IRS has, that's a notice that you're going to get, and you're going to have to do an amended return or work it out with the IRS some kind of way to pay that, if there's any taxes that are owed. So, and the reason why to do your taxes early is because, one, we want to reduce the fraud risk on your Social Security number.
That makes
To
sense.
get it out the way. Also, you have an opportunity to see what forms are missing. We did have that either in our newsletter on why to consider filing early, the February newsletter. And if you're not getting the newsletter, that's fine. You can find me on LinkedIn, and it's posted every month, and the weekly tax tips are there because a lot of people are like, I don't want to be spammed with email or anything like that. Go to my LinkedIn account, and they're posted there. Go to our Facebook account. Every week, every month, free information. And don't be shy, because even when you file early, I'm just going to look at some notes because I can't remember everything.
Right.
But you get your refund a little bit quicker. The individuals that do have kids, though, And if you file today, which is what by the time, this recording is February 8th, and you file and you have dependents, you'll just know due to the PATH Act of 2015, your tax return is going to be held because they need to make sure that your dependence on your tax filing is legitimate, because that the reason why the PATH Act went in, just to summarize what it is, people were claiming each other's kids.
Mm.
And when the actual person goes to file, they're like, I can't claim my kids because somebody claimed them.
Right.
We don't want that. So even if you decide to file after February 15th, file as soon as possible, because you can also avoid a dependent dispute, because I just mentioned about the PATH Act. And even if family members say, well, I'm going to claim my sister this year, but that's up to y'all. I mean, okay, if you're giving 100% of the financial support to that person, y'all work it out. I'm just a tax professional. I'm going to give what the law says. I'm going to give you what the law says, okay? And that's on your conscience. I educated you because I have to fill out a due diligence checklist. If you tell me yes or no, that's the answer that I'm going to say within that checklist. But just be very mindful with that. The other reason why you should consider filing early, you'll get your refund interest free. If you do owe, there is strategy there. I wouldn't file until April 15th. I'm not supposed to tell y'all this, but
Right.
I'm gonna tell you. Hold your tax filing till April 15th, because the minute that button is pushed, that's when the clock starts, and they expect for you to issue that check. But there's payment plans, so don't be fearful about that. And I think I want to give too much away in the newsletter, but like I said, I directed you to help you navigate to where to see this article. You're going to beat the rush. We don't know if there's going to be any delays or glitches in the system. I can't predict the future, but you just turn on the news, you can see what's going on.
It's
Anyway.
changed. But what's going on in the news, will that impact last year's taxes, or does it impact this current year? So when we do our filings for next year,
For 2025.
2025. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Jesus is coming back soon. Walking the earth right now, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah. And then also, if you want to be a person of charity, you get that refund, you can give that refund to somebody else. But I'm gonna leave that the decision of the taxpayer. But help your brother out, help your sister out. So those are some of the things that considering filing your return early.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So we have obviously we like to get the W-2 everyday 9 to 5 people out the way first, because those are the easiest. What has changed as far as their tax filing? So like the allotment for their for the 2025 season, so that they can start doing their Roth contributions and their traditional IRA contributions.
Well, the limits have increased. I don't have them right in front of me, but the limits for you to contribute to those have increased. I wouldn't say significantly, but even keel. But also for W-2s for 2024, because I can't really speak of what's going to go for 2025, because that Job and Tax Act
Oh,
may be gone away with because of, I'll say it, Project 2025. So what you used to could write off may go away, but they may re-implement it. I can't predict the future, but just stay prayerful and hopeful that something is going to be benefit to the W-2 taxpayers. But I believe they're taking more from middle class and lower income and giving more advantage to the high income earners. and that's coming down the pipeline. So starting that side hustle, if you heard that urge for many years to do it, this might be a good time to do it because a lot of your expenses that you incur are going to be tax write-offs for you, tax deductions. Um, the other thing, the standard deductions for single head of household and married filing jointly and separately have gone up. But if you're single, your standard deduction, and if you're married filing separately, those deductions are the same for 2024. So they're adjusting things for 2025 because of inflation. So there are instances where a lot of W-2 workers, you can't really itemize much unless you have mortgage interest, gifts to charity, some medical expenses, the standard. And what I do for my clients, there is a sales tax calculator at the IRS website, and they just recently updated that because even if you take that max sales tax deduction for the year, the max is $2,500. That may help reduce your tax liability a lot because I recently had a client, she was owing a little over under $50. And we were like, we don't want you to pay anything. Okay. So we were like, I'm not going to push the button until April 15th if you like, to hold this. And she was in agreement. I said, there's one last thing I want to look at. So in order for her to get over that threshold of the standard deduction, I pretty much just looked at her expenses for the year because she's straight W-2. And she had some medical expenses, mortgage interest, real estate taxes, and she didn't have any gifts to charity from what I remember. But that sales tax calculator helped push her over because her itemized deductions were more than her standard deduction as head of household. And that little bit of a push flipped it to a refund because we maxed it out because there's instructions at irs.gov/sales tax. Okay. Go to that website, play around with it, put in your adjusted gross income if you know it. And then if you had any dependents or anything, you may need large purchases for the tax year. And read the instructions because you can either use the number that calculates or you can do the standard sales tax deduction, which is $2,500. I would go with $2,500, especially if it calculates. Yes.
Take
If
the
it
back of
calculates
10.
$1,200, okay. The IRS allows it because the instructions are there. Okay. They're matter of fact. Let's be matter of fact as well.
Right.
We'll play the game. Just play the game.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing people don't realize with taxes. Don't be fearful. Because if you have a person who, such as myself, who wants to educate you legally via the tax law, if somebody sees this, hey, they may shut me down. I don't know. But I'm not fearful of that because I want to educate my clients so they're aware. These are some of the things that you look for your tax professional to see if they understand the law and to the benefit of you as a taxpayer. Seriously, because I'm looking out for you. I want to serve, and I want to serve you, the taxpayer, to educate yourself.
Yeah. So I know I like to ask this question all the time because we always get new listeners. How do we pick a good tax professional?
Well, there is, because I'm listed on the irs.gov website, there is a directory. And you pretty much can go there and kind of search by your zip code because a lot of the CPAs or tax professionals out there also look at Google reviews because if there's one bad review, that tanks, that turns anybody off because right now I'm in the process getting my roof at my house done. And the reviews came back really, really. See, that's another expense that anyway.
But you can put that on the sales tax. I was on their website. They say like, hey, you got any home repairs? You can put that down.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. See,
right.
see, I just educated you.
You
So
sure did.
uh, use it. It's out there. They don't tell you that it's out there. I look for stuff like that because I'm like, wait a minute. 1099 and small business owners have so much advantage. But see, W-2 and the small businesses can use that sales tax calculator because if you file if you're a sole proprietorship, you're going to file it on your Schedule C. So I'm looking for things to help lower your tax liability and your taxable income because it looks at the tax tables based on your taxable income in order to calculate what tax, whether you're overpaid or underpaid. So yeah. But back to your question. Digress.
Okay.
Please mention that again.
Okay.
I got sidetracked like what?
What were we talking?
You
Shucks.
messed up too.
Yeah, I did. Because you talking about that. We were talking about crap. Got. But we were on something. We were
Yeah,
on a
we
roll.
were.
But yeah, well, one of the things is as far as doing the interviews for the tax professional, how do we
Oh yes.
know if we got the right one?
Yeah. IRS.gov is first. Look at their directory. Sorry, y'all. I mean,
We're gonna keep this all in there.
yeah. All right. Keep it.
All
I'm
right.
not. Okay, first go to IRS.gov because you can even look me up. Because every year I take the annual refresher course. I don't have to, but I do that just to stay abreast of some of the changes. And there were some changes, but not really that much. Maybe we'll do another interview to kind of go over what the changes are for the upcoming changes for 2024 to go in more in depth with that. But next, look at the Google reviews because read the bad ones too. Don't you see all these 5 stars and 4.9s and couple threes? Read the bad ones too because it gives you a well-rounded depiction of how your experience may be. Now, if you go and choose that one, that might not be your experience, but reviews and IRS.gov is great. Ask for someone else to refer you, especially if you're out of state, because they may have developed a relationship with another tax preparer in another state. So referrals are great because that's free advertising. And other than that, pray and ask God to lead you.
I can't refute that.
Man, I've been watching lately, well, toward the end of the year, this show called American Greed.
Hmm.
There's some people out here, they have no conscience
Mm-mm.
whatsoever. It's on well, I'm not gonna advertise the network. Y'all can look it
Yeah,
up.
right. Because I saw
And
one of them that was talking about the guardianship. That one, I was upset with that one.
yeah.
That one, yeah.
There's a guy called Abraham Shakespeare.
Mhm.
If you ever see that episode, this man won the Florida lottery. And it didn't turn out very well, but he got conned by someone. I'm not gonna even mention the lady's name, and I'm not gonna give too much away, but it's just ended tragically. It's
Mm.
just, and then when COVID hit, and you remember in the news they said they ran out of funds.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, I'll say this a little briefly, but I don't want to give there was a well, yeah, I can give it away because they probably won't air that for another couple more weeks or months. I don't know. But there was a family that came over from a different country and they started all of these fake businesses. And that's how they got that free money. And that's how it ran out. And I said, lo and behold, I'm trying to help my clients get money and there was nothing left.
Mm.
And it's almost like they slapped them on the wrist.
They slapped a lot of people on the wrist with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Right. You try to do right, and this is what happens a lot of times. It's like, am I not lying enough? Like, get you to think, like, can I
No,
can I lie a little bit?
don't ever do that. Come on, Anthony. I don't even. I consider you my spiritual brother. Don't
Oh,
lie.
no, no, no. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-mm. Don't do that.
Right.
No, because see, you're going to be the one that gets caught.
Right. Out of all the people, I'm sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't like jail.
No, and I tell people I joke about it. I'm too skinny to go to jail.
Okay. Hey, look, I bet a buck 20 wet. Like, that's it.
And I love the Lord and my mama way too much to say disappoint them. And I'm like, no, Angelina ain't gonna. I've been asked to do things tax related, and I was like, no, you came to the wrong company.
Mm,
I'm not gonna do it. Write off cigarettes. I think I told you that in my first episode with you.
yeah.
This trucker told me, you can write off my cigarettes as meals. What textbook you think? What textbook did you? Anyway,
Right.
moving on. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm just me.
Yeah. Uh, so we talked about the standard deductions for the sales tax. What is it that a lot of people are not doing in 2024 that they should do for 2025?
Adjust your withholding because
Mm,
it's getting serious. And that withholding calculator that we did on another show, please do because um I've already ran into issues where the federal withholding is zero. You don't want that to be zero because
mm,
that's considered you being tax exempt. Do you have a exempt certificate to support that? Most taxpayers don't, because it's going to cause a real issue. But I understand the strategy because one of my case studies, they said that they wanted more money throughout because things are so expensive. I get
yes.
it. I get it. They wanted more in their check. I get it. However, you really look at this liability, though. You know, so be very mindful of that. Making sure enough withhold and my high income earners. Um, please take adequate federal income taxes out because you're going to be in a situation where you're a high income earner and then it gets into the thousands of dollars for your liability. And there's not much I can do if you don't have a side hustle or Schedule C, and that side hustle is legit. Don't just make stuff up
Yeah.
because we don't do that here. You got to be honest. And they'll never see. Don't ever say never, ever. Don't ever say that because you probably the one that they pick for audit. You
And
know,
you got to keep that for what, 7 years? Keep your information for 7 years for that?
I recommend 5. Some people say 3, and especially now with the digital age, you can scan that stuff in and keep it on a thumb drive or external drive. Um, and then you don't have to worry about the paper because
Okay.
you can go to your external drive or your thumb drive and download it if you need it. And that includes receipts because that's clutter. We don't want clutter. No,
Yeah.
no. But and also to your point with the W-2s, look at those closely because a lot of businesses have been going out of business and you may have trouble getting that W-2, but you need to file a complaint with the IRS so you can get your W-2. And then if you might have to file an extension with that W-2 until that transcript is available. But keep in mind also that the wage transcript that you download will not have the full EIN number on there. So you're going to have to call the IRS to get the full EIN number because your tax professional is going to need that along with the address. So what you do, you ask for an unmasked copy of your wage transcript so you can file your taxes. and also file the complaint, because they meaning the company that went out of business still has an obligation to release your W-2 or 1099.
See, I didn't know that. Because somebody was telling me recently to start doing a what do they call it? Like a digital go bag. And what they mean by that was printing out the last five pay stubs, printing out like your any other document forms that's necessary for taxes or your employment information, like you said, your
Mhm.
employer information, so you can still file your taxes because the EIN should be on prior stuff if you've been there for years, so you can still file it.
Correct.
And so just kind of like to make sure that people do that. Is it best practice? Like if they already have their latest pay stub, can they still file their taxes with that, or do you think it's more info on the W-2?
It's more efficient to do it from your W-2, but that strategy is in one of our tips or the newsletter. We did mention that as well, but more than likely you need to contact the IRS because they're the ones with the information. They're the ones that need to advise you. You can do all of that, but I think in interest of time, go onto your online account and but or wait to file an extension. But that is a strategy you can use. Yeah, but
Gotcha.
we don't file by paycheck stubs. Mm-mm.
I guess that was old school.
That's old
Okay.
school.
Okay. Because you said that I did not know you can actually create your own account inside the IRS website.
Yes, you can. You're gonna have to go through a verification process though.
I mean, it's
It
like the real ID, isn't it?
everything, yeah. They have to verify your identity.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay, and then they'll have all that information already built in.
Yes, they'll have your complete tax record for 3 years out there.
What?
Yeah. So you
Okay,
can download, you can even see when you filed your taxes,
right.
the tax transcript for your tax filing. You can find your wage and transcript. And then you have, if you're a business owner, like C Corp, S Corp, or because on your 1040, that's where your Schedule C is. You can see that business filing has been filed and what day or whatever on there. So you get a bit of a summary. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at it. Well, I'm about to sign in right now because it looked like it's using the same portal, which is the ID Me thing,
Yes. Exactly right.
to set up.
Mhm.
Ah.
That's exactly right.
So this, you know what I'm saying? Like every time we talk, you always teach me something new, which is great.
Oh, good.
Right.
I'm glad you pay attention. Thank
Right.
you.
If ain't nobody else getting any information, I am. I mean, shoot. Oh yeah, they do ask for more information.
They do.
Um,
Us tax professionals have to do that too if we access it. So it's and a little tip for our nonprofits out there.
mhm.
If you W-2 and you also are starting a nonprofit, um, record keeping is very important. However, if you didn't get but less than 50,000 in contributions for your nonprofit, you still have to file a Form 990N, and that is an informational return to let the IRS know that contributions for that tax year were less than 50,000 because some churches and charitable organizations are getting 1099Ks, okay, for all their contributions that came into their organization. And as you know, all tax documents that you receive, the IRS receives it too. So if you are 501c3, it's best not to ignore it. Although if you made less than $10,000 that year, I advise you do a form 990-N. So it's a 990-N. And you can file directly at the IRS website for free.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because some
Now,
people, W-2s, and then you got pastors, because I have a couple pastor as my clients, and these pastors are funny.
really, what do you mean?
They're funny.
They're
They're
funny.
hilarious, like comedy relief.
Hmm.
Seriously.
Like what they trying to get away with?
I can't.
But
I can't. I can't. Some of them are my viewers too. Mm-mm.
okay,
Nope.
all right.
Nope.
But they
Nope.
don't know what church it is. What's one thing? What's all right? Well, let's see. How can I reframe this?
No,
Um,
Anthony, you ain't gonna pull me into this. No, because they'll immediately know that I'm talking about.
okay. Like, look, they only contributed $55. Can we bump that up to 20,000? Like 55 to
You
20,000.
ain't pulling me in this. Mm-mm.
Well,
I
this
shouldn't
wasn't.
even mention it, Lord. I'm so sorry.
That's how you know it's eating you up on the inside. It gotta come out. It's poison. You gotta share with us.
Oh, you gonna make me cough? Mm-mm.
All right. Well, let's change the direction a little bit. Because we talked about the W-2s, we had the people with the nonprofits. Let's get down to the business owners, because one of this big thing that I heard a lot of people say that you must fill out before the end of 2024, which is this beneficial ownership information report or something like that. Can you tell us what is it, and do we really have to file it?
Well, right now, the latest, as of today, I don't know what the latest is. However, they were in, meaning the benefit, BOIs for short. Um, it's really protecting the business for all LLCs that are registered in your state. Okay. They want you to file, and this has been around for a long time. It's just the communication of when you're supposed to file has been a disconnect. So they want to make sure these LLCs are not laundering money.
Mm,
Okay. Because whenever you set up a business account, they're going to go ahead and look at your state to make sure that you are registered and you're a legit company. Okay. You have an EIN number, you have a business name, um, the whole nine. So basically, the long and short of it, they want to make sure that you're not laundering money and you're a legitimate business. And that filing keeps everything on file. But right now, because I have an additional LLC that I did start, that I don't have to do it until they get through the courts system, because they put fear in people like, oh man, I'm gonna get fined $549 if I don't file and register my business with BOI.
right.
It protects you as the business owner, especially if you're doing things the right way. But that instance where I mentioned about the COVID funds, if they had that implemented back then, I don't think those monies will have been stolen the way they were, you know, really, because they came in our country and they pretty much stole, bought all these big old houses, these cars. I'm sorry, because I'm like trying to give
Right.
people,
Like I said, it's poison. Gotta
yeah,
come out.
pretty much. I'm not gonna give nobody no ideas.
Right.
No, no.
Okay.
Just watch the show for yourself, and if you want ideas, hey, watch it for yourself.
Yeah, that's a but that's the extremes that I've seen on that show. And it's kind of like, okay, are you really utilizing the system as not intended?
Yeah,
Or actually you just finally got caught because of this one thing. Um,
exactly.
you know, so
But if you want a more textbook explanation, but
yeah.
that's the long and short of it. They just want to track to make sure that you are not, and I'm looking it up right now, to make sure that I'm compliant as well, because we want to stay compliant with the US government. Um, we ain't want no visibility. Um, Not here, not there. Uh-uh. We just want to follow the rules. And because see, right now there's a court order that it's been delayed. So once they get through all of the rigmarole, spell that. But anyway, Um, LLCs are going to have to report. And if you go to boiefiling.fincen.gov, and if you have any questions, any business owner out there, this website will give you more information because they work directly with the Corporate Transparency Act. And that applies to all businesses, not so much individuals or independent contractors, but if your business is registered in the state, whether Florida, whether Maryland, Pennsylvania, all LLCs, you're not exempt. Even if I believe, I'm not sure if Puerto Rico is involved in this at all, because they're part of the United States. But
Right.
So they just want to keep down on the crimes of financial crimes. So everything's on a pause right now. So,
Gotcha.
but when that turns around, I wouldn't drag my feet and say, I'm not going to file because you don't want to fine, and then your EIN is probably earmarked, so when you go file your taxes or, maybe I'm going to the extreme. You go to the DMV, you can't renew your driver's license until you take care of this. So I'm just kind of forward thinking.
Wow. Wow.
That might not be the case, but think about how they did and caught a lot of people who had to pay child support. When they renew their driver's license, some states do that. So
That's how they get you. Well, I mean, you just got to do the right thing at the right time. Time is everything. And
amen.
yeah, we all got deadlines.
That's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, so we got our understanding on that part. Is there anything cool and sexy that business owners can kind of take advantage of for our 2024 taxes?
Cool and sexy is record keeping for your business because it'll make it easier for the tax professional. Because if you come to my office with a box of receipts like someone did a number of years ago, I'm gonna look at you like you at the back of the line. I do want to help you. I'm not going to turn you away, but with my new responsibilities now, I'm going to have to turn you away. And there is a awesome app called forreceipt.com. That if you have a receipt, you have a bank statement, a credit card statement, you can link it to this app or website, and they have a free plan. And then it goes up from $5 to $12 a month to track and organize your expenses. So there's no excuse. The technology is out there. It's almost like we don't want to pay to be organized.
Right.
Sometimes you have to pay to be organized because that platform will organize your receipts into categories for you. So when you take it to your tax professional, it helps ease the issue because if you come to me, the bookkeeping fee is going to be $600 or more.
I mean, it's a lot for you to go through.
It is. And it's time consuming. Because look, I have to construct a P&L, which is the profit and loss statement. Oh, the Schedule C does that for me. But you got to organize that data for me to put it in the right categories, and then, if you making a little bit over 50,000 or plus, you want a balance sheet, and it has your assets, your liabilities, owner's equity, and a cash flow statement. So we know what cash is coming in and out. And then a trial balance. These are basics. Go to the irs.gov. It tells you. Think I'm lying? Go to irs.gov.
Well, no, I believe you. Like,
No, I know you. Yeah, I'm telling your audience here.
Right.
Yeah. So record keeping is very important for our small business owners because it makes it easier for your tax professional. It really does, and it keeps your costs down.
Okay. And the IRS does, for people who are wondering, they do give you a nice, lovely 28-page PDF on how to do your records keeping. And if you want a cheat code to use AI to help you out, take this PDF, slide it on over to ChatGPT, and say, "Hey, generate me a Excel sheet or a spreadsheet with this information so that I can do my taxes."
There you go.
Yeah. And it'll extract it. And actually, on this PDF, they do give you all the columns and the rows on what
Hmm.
you need for each one. So this is actually great. They give you great examples on pages, starting on page 18 on the PDF.
Good information.
Yep.
Right.
So, teamwork. We got this. All right.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. So with you, just to kind of let people know, like, if somebody's out there and they was like, yeah, I really want to become, start working in taxes, where could they go? Or what should they do? What are the best steps for them?
The best steps is getting like an overview on what taxes means to you, because you got to be detail oriented. If you want to do this, anyone can. The steps, and I'll take it a little step further. If you want to run your own tax firm, um, the first step for the basic is to get a P10. That is a personal tax identification number. And you can get that at the IRS website. You register. I think now they're charging people like 1995 to either doing a renewal or start it, because at one time it used to be free and anybody could do taxes. And that's when a lot of people got in trouble. But anyway, and were fraudulent. And learn and get mentored by someone. I'm willing to do that. I'm mentoring someone right now who's making a transition from corporate into trying to figure out if they want to do taxes. You got to be passionate about what you really want to do, and if this tax going to be your next step, be passionate about it. Don't just do it. Oh, I can make X amount of dollars in 3 months period. That's great. However, you're going to run yourself into the ground, because it's no joke. It really isn't. And the next thing, make sure you have a heart for serving, because people have real issues. I wasn't prepared for that, but in a sense I was, because that was my training from leaping from corporate America to business owner and then back into corporate America. People have real issues, not aside from your tax filing, because you're a counselor, especially if you want to have present the tax document to that taxpayer via Zoom or in person. You have to love people. Don't just love the money. The money will come. Don't chase the money. The money will come. And if you do a great, excellent, phenomenal job, you get so many referrals, like, oh man, she's good, he's good. And then it builds your confidence and rapport. You don't have to know everything about taxes. Just know that if there's something you don't know, and I've said this several times, let me look into that and I'll get back with you. All right. So find a mentor. Kind of let them, you can shadow under them. And I do mentoring. I do. So if anybody wants to reach out, I definitely will be more than willing, and be committed, because if we set up a time, an hour, maybe 2 hours to go over your goals first and what is your strategy for learning how to do taxes. There are tax schools, because I'm not going to teach you. There are tax schools. I'm not going to name those. You can do your chat GPT research on that, or Google, Copilot, whatever. And those tax schools, they do charge. It's not free. And you can do an online class or certain big box. I'm not going to mention those, but they offer classes in your city, and that's how you get your foot in. But that P10 is going to be probably one of your first steps, and then just absorb the information. There are probably YouTube videos that there's classes, because I know one particular software company, they offer some classes on YouTube. So you could do that. But if you want to navigate and go into owning your own firm, just know the FBI is going to look at your background. Seriously, because you're going to be fingerprinted.
Mm-hmm.
And that process takes 6 to whatever weeks. They probably shorten the time now, because they're going into your background. They're going into your financial health. Even every year when I take this refresher course, they ask if my taxes are up to date, because before you can even say, I'm going to sit down for this 3-hour test, have all your ducks in a row. And then when you file for that, it's called an EFIN, and you already have your P10. They're probably gonna scrape you to the coals, because this BOI is now going to probably be in effect later this year. We don't know, due to the federal court order, but that takes a while. But during that time of waiting, continue to get mentored. Come up with your business name. Start with social media, because social media is free. Talk to local tax businesses in your area.
Podcasters.
Yeah. Podcasters. Yes. Come to ATW, and he will help you out.
Well, thank you.
But great question. But if anybody wants any more detailed information on how I got started, I believe you need to go to
The first time we interviewed you?
yeah, About That Wallet's first episode, When You See Me. And I kind of talked about how I fell into it. I've been doing taxes for years, ever since I was in college, because I was talking about that the other day.
Wow.
And I said one of the big box companies didn't put me on the schedule, because, see, I was telling it all. I'm like, you see what they're charging you? I have this big smile on my face. Here's my number. Call me after. I can tell you how to fill out this form.
So you like the father on The Incredibles. Do not file Form 107A. Do not put your name on this box.
And people used to say, what happened to Angela? They didn't put me on the schedule. I didn't even know I was fired. Didn't even know. But I have a heart for serving people, and at first I was doing it for the money, and I wasn't happy. I was doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was a podcast or something I listened to that said, don't chase the money. It was a partnership I was in, and I saw how they operated. And I think the good Lord wanted me to see that, because you can't just nickel and dime people. Because, see, the one person I help can send me 10 clients.
Right. That's
so you got to have that perspective. But they were teaching how to nickel and dime. That's not right. Because you don't like to be nickel and dime. No.
No. I mean, we already get nickel dime every time we look at a subscription. I mean, the last thing we want to do is get nickel and dime on our taxes.
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, it's not about how much refund they get. It's about helping them lower their tax liability and educating them on the law, because the IRS ain't going to tell you. They're just matter of fact. Just call them sometimes. Don't tell your life story. Just tell them what you need. Pause and get your information and hang up. Because if you open that can of worms, they're taking notes. The calls are recorded. Don't tell them your life story. Take it from me. Don't do it.
So, because I got one burning question, because a lot of people are new to taxes or listening to the show that's new, which is what are your thoughts on getting a refund versus not getting a refund and you actually got to pay? I know it's a common question, but gotta ask it.
Actually, it's a great question because refunds are interest-free money that you're leaving on the table for the IRS to use until you claim it. Refunds could be great, especially for that single mother, or I'll say it like this because politically correct, mother with kids, you know, because some people are offended by that single mom, but mother that has kids, she needs that tax credit, those non-refundable credits, to raise their kids, because if the father's not in their life, some women do not put their exes on child support. So getting a refund is interest-free money that you've loaned to the IRS until you claim it. Okay. Owing, this is the flip side of it. If you owe, the IRS is going to charge you interest and penalties because you didn't, especially with your W-2, you're not in line with the tax withholding. Okay. You're taking little too much. No, I'm sorry. You're not taking enough withholding out of your paycheck but see, again, like I mentioned earlier, it's about strategy for some because they want all their money now. But just know at the end of the year, you're going to have to pay because now that W-2 is kind of like your 15.3% in taxes. Because if you're a 1099 earner, that's what you're being charged for self-employment tax, 15.3%. That's the portion of the Social Security, Medicare, the FICA. And they said, well, you made $50,000. We need 15.3% of that, especially if you don't have any expenses to write off, which I don't believe. Oh, I made 50,000 on 1099 and I didn't have any expenses. Okay, you're just lazy. You are. You mean you at home remotely?
You ain't paying no internet?
Huh?
I say you ain't paying no internet or something?
Exactly. Internet. You didn't use your cell phone.
Right.
The electricity that helps run the laptop.
Right. Might not have to get new equipment, but something.
You didn't eat that day?
Did you get a haircut? Like,
yes. It boggles my mind that some of the time, and that's why I'm here to help and serve and educate, because you're 1099. You drank something. You didn't drink. You drank some water, a Coke, some juice.
You put the water bill on there too.
It's utilities. It's on your Schedule C. So it just amazes me, like, well, how are you functioning? Because I gotta eat I have to eat at least 3-4 meals a day.
Oh, I need to be on your schedule because I only do it like twice.
I tried that. I be so hungry when I get up in the morning. It's like, nah, and I'm too skinny for that. I'm like, I need food. That metabolism has not slowed down for me. But anyway. But yeah, what was I saying?
You were talking about the 1099 folks.
Yeah, well, you were asking about liability and refunds. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so getting a refund is not always the best thing, but I understand the strategy. But even if you're a single dad, that's refundable credits you're leaving on the table that the IRS says you can come get, when you file your tax return, because the children under the age of 17, you're allocated $2,000 a child. And then some, because of your income level, you get the additional child tax credit. But as your income increases, that additional child tax credit is almost obsolete.
Can it work out for caregivers? Because with the sandwich generation, they taking care of their parents or something like that.
Yes, that you get $500 allocation because they're considered other dependents. You
Mm,
know, they're not so much the child,
right.
they're the other dependent. And that allocation is $500 per person because I do a case study. She's taking care of her grandmother. And I had to convince her uh, a number of years ago, you're head of household. Why are you? Because she kept asking, why am I paying taxes every year? You know, I have a liability every year. So we just go through our list and ask some questions and build that rapport with that client because people will tell you anything, and I've heard a lot.
I bet.
I, you know, but I think this is what the good Lord has me to do right now, and this is my assignment, and I love it some days, and some days it's like I want to fix it, but I know I can't. Only thing I can do is pray and ask God to guide them because you can't make their problem your own because you'll go crazy,
Mm,
really. But I am empathetic to a lot of situations, especially this week. The people are going through some real issues. They really are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll all iron out by next year. We get to see if there's any cool things that we can actually take advantage of because the tax code changes every year.
Sure does.
And
Mhm.
so we got to stay on top of it. And
Yep.
I appreciate you coming on every year. I do have a different set of final four questions. Are you up for them?
Okay, I'm
But
up for it.
it's like,
I don't even know what they are. I am up for it. Yeah, let's.
let's do it. Dive right on in. I'm glad you trust me. Let's go.
Ooh,
I don't know. You might be like, you know what? I ain't coming back next year. Uh,
I won't do you like that. If I say no comment, I'll just keep moving.
okay. All right. So, number one, what would you give your younger self? I mean, if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, that's a great question. The one piece of advice, and this is authentic and genuine, is to speak up
Hmm.
because there was such a long time I just been quiet and observed because that's how I kind of learn from people and I observe my entire environment. And for you to be in a thriving environment and communicate, you got to talk.
Yeah.
And you know, I can be winded. And this is a process that I really had to kind of leave behind. So yeah, I'll tell my younger self to speak up.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Number two, what's a money habit you swear by that has made the biggest difference in your life?
Stop spending unnecessary dollars because it adds up. I am right now challenging myself because I came off a 21-day fast because I do that every year, you know, with my church. And even if I didn't do it with my church, I would do it because you need to cleanse all that stuff out, you know, and it's not so much about the food, it's your connection with God. So I would, and I'm not right now, I am with I this is my own personal challenge. I want to see where every dollar is being spent. So I'm like on a financial fast.
There you go.
If I don't need it, I don't buy it. So and you got to know where every dollar is going from your more and pay the most important things first. Because I've seen people, Anthony, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my mortgage. Well, then you should have paid that first.
True.
Hello.
True. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
I didn't pay my car insurance. That's one of the other things that you need to pay first. Well, ultimately, let me take a step back because I'm gonna get a little scriptural. Um, and not so much. You need to actually, if you're a tither, pay your tithes first. Okay? Because you got 90% left to
Yeah.
do whatever. And that 90 does stretch. Challenge me for 90 days and do that. Give 10% to an organization. If you're not the church poor and you don't believe in, I still love you. It's just, there is a God, but pay something to an organization, somebody in need. Give your 10% of your earnings to somebody in need if it's not a local church or organization. 2, pay yourself 10%. Stick that away. And so now what? You got 80% left to pay your bills. And stop using those credit cards to pay for things if you can't afford them. Okay. So right now, that's what money means to me, that I have to watch every dollar because food is expensive, but we got to eat.
Yeah.
Gas for me now, it's not expensive because I have to put premium in my vehicle. I go to Costco. I take that little journey up the highway to go to Costco to get my gas. Okay. Because when it gets on half, I'm like, okay, I know how this can stretch, but I've been in a situation twice already this year that I almost ran out of gas and I knew better. Okay. And the light didn't come on yet, but I know my car.
You're like, Jesus, take the wheel.
I know that's right. Because I don't want to push that SOS button because I'm going to stay there until you bring me some gas. But yeah, twice this year already. I'm like, we ain't going to do that. So that's my answer to your question.
All right. Number 3, if you could have dinner with a financial expert, past or present, who would it be and why?
Wow, that's interesting. Can I pick 2?
Sure.
I actually would want to go to dinner with you because you're very knowledgeable.
Oh, thank you.
I see the guests that you have on and the questions that you do ask because it's a different perspective for me. The other one would be, and he's not so much a financial, but he does talk about the how money relates to how it can break a relationship. Is the hip hop preacher Eric Thomas.
Yes.
I would love to have dinner with him and just listen because he is on fire. Okay. And it works for him and he has a community and they all get along because they take money out of it. It's about covenant. Money is important because money answers all things. And I've said that in a past podcast interview with you because it's in the Bible, it's biblical. But yeah, you and Eric Thomas, I would definitely.
Wow, I'm honored. Have you read his book?
Yes, I have it.
Yeah.
You Owe You, yes.
Yep.
And then he has a couple of other books that they're on my list to get, but I haven't gotten them yet. But You Owe You put fire into me for 2025, though.
Nice. All right. Number 4. What's one thing about money or taxes that you wish more people understood?
Great question. I like these. Well, for taxes, since I'm a tax professional, is that I'll say this again, it's no fear. It's all about educating yourself on how taxes actually basically work. It's not just the W-2 because it's like an art when I put it together to explain line by line where these numbers are coming from. And you can see the excitement or baffleness on the tax client's face. Like, no one explained this to me. I just went and I filed my taxes. And the number of feedback that we've gotten is like, oh yeah, I'll be back next year. And they come back. And the gratitude for me to explain taxes, because they said no one has explained this to me. I didn't know this was out here. I didn't know you could write that off. Miseducation. It's almost like we need to pick up Lauryn Hill's album.
Right.
Hey, because we want to advance the kingdom, you, myself, and the next person. At least that's my goal. You know, not so much, knowledge is power, because they say, people will challenge that. But it really is. If you don't know, now you do. In the second part of your question, you said taxes or money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, this has to be personal, I guess. Read the question one more time.
Yeah. What is one thing about money or taxes that you wish more people understood?
Well, I've learned as an adult, money does not grow on trees. And when you get to the level where you're completely responsible for money, you're going to appreciate it more, because I see these children, anybody under the age of 18, I'm going to call them a child, because they're spending daddy and mommy's money frivolously. Okay. What if mommy or daddy lost that job or lost that business? And I think money needs to be more explained to people on, it could be evil and it could be a benefit, because it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. Not money itself, it's the love. And if you're motivated and saying that money motivates you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Yeah, the sandwich generation and these younger kids, they're not appreciative, because if mommy and daddy are paying for everything and you don't know how money works, you're gonna be lost. So we need to get back to, even myself, because as an adult now, I know how money works. Sometimes money is fearful for me, like, oh man, if I spend this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. But if I save it and invest it, I can compound my interest. So, but then you don't want to spend it because it's like you're building this nest egg. But if you have financial goals and big purchases you want to plan for, money is great. It's just how you use it. I hope I answered the question. I don't know.
I like it. That's all that matters. Like, as long as you like it too. Because
It's like, where's she going with this? But
yeah, I'm with your thought process, because for me, I'm always jumping with different topics as well, and I'm sure you listen to other interviews and it'd be like, where is Anthony going at with these questions? Like,
it's very intriguing for me. That's why, that dinner question was awesome, because it's like you have a commonality. You understand, I understand, but then you bring a different perspective,
mm-hmm.
And with Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, he's amazing, and it works for him, and his secret to his success is he lives it. It's true. So,
And his network is really good too. Because I've met the people that are in his network, but I haven't met him yet. So
okay.
it's actually interesting, because they come to different conferences. So I was like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what is, I don't even think he calls him his right hand, but CJ.
Yep, I met CJ.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. He's funny to me because I like their success podcast that they do, because I think what is Carl, Jamal, they call him Maul, I guess.
Yep.
And because see, Jamal and I have the last name. So I was like, that's my brother.
Right.
I don't know him.
Right.
I don't know him. And it's just great to see. And I don't want to offend anybody, but it's great to see Black men do positive things. It really is. It's great to see that. And they make an impact, because this next generation could be lost. God help y'all. But
Nobody wants to work anymore. Or put in the work, shall I say.
Yeah. No, you said it right the first time, because I I'll say this, I guess, because I know. No, I won't. I won't.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it.
All right. Well, we'll talk offline.
Yeah, we could talk offline. Yeah.
All right. So, all right. So Angelina, this has been such a wonderful time. Thank you so much. Is there anything left that you want to say as a closeout for this particular episode for today?
The one thing I would like to say, and I'm gonna keep this brief, I promise. Um, those W-2 workers that are want to switch jobs to make more money, or you're just starting out looking for a job, because I've seen things on social media that people were crying because they can't find a job, okay, and they're not marketable. The one thing I would kind of stress, you have to be prepared when you present yourself, because you're marketing yourself. You may look great on paper, but for you to communicate that to the interviewer and you're sitting across them, research what the company does. These are the basic things. Research what the company does. Align that with what you can help them, the company, with your skills. Sell yourself. Talk in the mirror. Do a mock interview before you get there, because a lot of these young people are unprepared and they go to the bottom of the stack of the resumes. And the other thing is, get your taxes done.
Yeah, they got to do that. 'Cause I
Uh-huh.
can imagine a lot of people like, oh, I haven't done my taxes in like 3 years.
And you bring up a great point. If you haven't done your taxes in 3 years, you're missing out on money that the IRS has for you, because the stimulus checks are still available. This will probably be the last year that you probably can claim that. And the IRS and the Department of Treasury, they're trying to do the right thing to locate you so you can get your $1,400 or more, you know. And they put out a blast on their website that a lot of the recovery rebate money has gone unclaimed. I think it's 1.5 billion or million. I think I
Jeez.
have that. Yeah, I have it here somewhere. The max amount you can get is $1,400. You can't use $1,400. I know I
Yeah.
can.
Oh, yeah. You can put premium gas in your car.
That'll be earmarked specific for that. Yeah, there's over $1 million still left on the table that taxpayers have not claimed. So don't be afraid that you're not going to get it. But if you need to file your 2021 tax return, ain't much you can do with 2020, because the statute of limitations, because you have 3 years to file your taxes. Okay, but 2021, you have until April 15th to get that in and get your $1,400.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for all that you do and continuously to add value to everybody that listens to your voice, to your message. If you guys haven't already, while you're listening to this episode, go ahead on and sign up for her email list. If you haven't, you can sign up for my email list. I do have a full section dedicated to 718 tax services, because it's a lot of great information, and I do want to share that with my audience and with you guys. So if you haven't already done so, sign up for both of our newsletters. Hers is more on, as you could say, more scheduled than mine. Mine is whenever I get to it for the month. But I'm working on it. It's a work in progress.
That's right. At least you're doing it, because see, some people don't even send out information. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Y'all be safe, and you remember, you do have what it takes to be the best version of yourself. And your taxes is something is to not be afraid of, not turn your eyes away from. Lean into it, and let's get it done. All right, everybody. Y'all be safe. We out.